and welcome to the Warhammer Podcast episode 214. I'm your host, Brad. This is my co-host, Eric.
How's it going?
And on this week's episode, we are going to be exploring a faction, the Adepta Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle, the Nuns with Guns.
Sounds good.
All right, so the Sisters have a pretty large range, but I think one of the standouts is how many unique named characters they have.
Yeah, there are actually quite a few.
They're not demons level of named characters, but there's quite a few of them here of all different backgrounds and lores. You can't argue they're all the same, that's for sure.
That is true. So I think we'll kind of break up this episode into the characters. We'll go through like the epic heroes first, the named characters, then the generic ones, then infantry, and then vehicles. Maybe we'll switch it up. We'll see.
We'll flow it as is required, because there are some themes in this army that need to bounce between different types of units. But to start things off, let's go to the highest we can get. One of the High Lords of Terra herself, Morvenn Vahl.
Head honcho of Adepta Sororitas. The Abbess. She's like in charge of everything. And actually pretty awesome. Like the way that happened. Apparently it was like a political game to like appoint her. She was super young and so like they planned to control her. But that didn't work out too well for him because she's awesome and turned it around and just basically took over.
Yeah, and model-wise, she's got her massive Paragon Warsuit, which is actually extremely sick.
Yeah.
She's also been a menace for the majority of her time existing. So if you're worried about her being strong, she has been for basically the entire time she's existed.
Which, I mean, is not necessarily a bad thing, but there have been moments where it's been definitely a problem. Rules-wise, pretty fun, though.
She's got the standard Supreme Commander setup.
Yeah, which is good, definitely. The model itself, just amazing. I love it. It's so cool. Definitely going to be some problems with, the base overhang, but
let's move on to Saint Celestine, the Living Saint. This is basically most people's sales pitch for the faction from a character standpoint. You have an actual angel who is definitely not a demon.
No, definitely not a demon.
She's definitely not a demon, guys. It's very important that we're all aware.
Yeah, no, living saints are totally normal. The whole like displaying miracles and then being resurrected.
Popping out of the warp, getting banished to the warp again when a null field happened. That's totally normal.
Yeah, I mean, the whole like lore behind it, very cool. Bunch of stuff going on. The model itself, though, is absolutely gorgeous.
It is one of the best Imperium models from an artistic standpoint for showing it off. Absolutely stunning. But yeah, if you want your main combat duelist type unit who is damn near immortal at times, don't roll badly.
There is always some don't roll badly. A 2-up still has a chance to roll a 1, but yeah, there's definitely some fun going on with gameplay wise, and yeah, there's some lore and stuff. It's always tough to sell such an obviously cool model, right? Like in this, like every faction's model, we're trying to show off like these are the cool parts of it, and then we get to something like Saint Celestine, and it's just like, have you looked at it?
This is, to me, it's the default. It's the this is why you're here.
Yeah.
So like we're selling the rest of the models in the range.
It kind of feels like it, yeah.
But you aren't interested in them if you're not interested in her.
Seems likely, yeah.
You're here for religious ladies. If you don't like the best one they got, I don't know how to help.
There are differences between a bunch of the models, but like the overall theme, you're spot on. So let's take a look at Aestred Thurga, the Reliquant at Arms. Reliquant at Arms being someone who hunts down lost relics and makes sure that they're properly protected. Me and Brad had a fun discussion between conservator and curator for a museum, but Aestred Thurga, though, particularly is about protecting the relic auto tapestry of the Emperor's Judgment. It's a cool looking banner.
It's a cool looking banner yep.
That's what I got.
My question is, what makes the tapestry a car?
Wow.
That's all I got. She does have a book, so it is very likely that you might be a fan of her in lore, and that is part of why you want her for tabletop.
I mean, there is something cool about the whole tracking down relics and like preserving them and like updating and making sure that they're like properly cleaned and all that stuff, but the model looks cool. I don't know too much about the auto tapestry itself. I'm sure that there is more in that book or something like that, but let's move on to something that hopefully we know a little bit more about.
All right, Junith Eruita. She is the Canoness Superior for the Order of Our Martyred Lady. For those who understand Space Marines, she's a chapter master.
I mean, you're not wrong.
She's a Pharaon if you're into Necrons.
Oh, there we go. Branching out a little bit. Dangerous. And our Martyred Lady is like one of the 6 like major orders. So Junith is quite important, as it were.
Yes, and she has her holy hover pulpit.
I'm sure it has like a particular name. I don't know it, but yes, it is exactly that. And it's kind of cool looking.
It has the sickest double flamer at the bottom that has the skeleton guys as like ornaments on them. I love that.
The details on this model are amazing. Very cool. All kinds of stuff going on there.
I also feel like it being a like preaching pulpit as one of your main centerpieces feels extremely correct for your ultra religious faction.
Right? Like it fits so well.
It would be dumb in any context other than sisters. The fact that it works is impressive.
Yeah. And like it works in like a kind of cool way too. It's not one of those like it's so dumb it wraps around in an orc style. This actually works very well. And honestly, I do love the pulpit. Just everything aesthetically on this fits so well.
All right, but let's move on to our brand new model for sisters with Intranzia Fraye, our Dogmata Superior, also known as the scariest Dogmata, which I guess we should explain. Dogmatas are basically the sister equivalent.
Like a chaplain?
Yeah, like a chaplain, but like specifically the part that is worried about the purity and the upholding the rules of the Adepta Sororitas internally.
Yeah, they're definitely a scary part of the
Yes.
of this particular faction.
We'll get into them more later, but as a Dogmata Superior, she is basically the Giga version.
Yeah, and got a hell of a ride here. Had to look it up. The Throne of Blame is what this is called.
I like the fact that since they're basically like judge, jury, and executioner internally, the fact that it looks like a big, impressive like judge's bench, I really like how it shows off that aspect of her position.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I also just the amount of aura, if I can go there with it, that this model shows, just an amount that clearly you don't want to screw with kind of thing. And it makes sense from the like Dogmata Superior. Yeah, you don't ever want to actually be in her presence. That's not a good thing. This is a cool new model.
And then we have one of the most memorable models for the Sororitas, the Triumph of St. Catherine, the entire diorama.
Yeah, I was just going to say this model's interesting for many reasons. One of them primarily being it's a diorama. It's an entire story going on here as a single model. But yeah, this is all about St. Catherine and being a saintly relic, which are apparently just remains of saints, and so we just carry around a dead body. Makes sense. I mean, there's a lot more to it. One of the things being like the heart that you can see in the model above the casket or whatever is apparently like always been the same heart. Like that's her heart, even though it's like really old and should probably be decayed. So it's like, oh wow, it's very saintly and holy. There is also like, it's not just Saint Catherine. It holds power from all the 6 matriarchs, which is why like in the rules you'll see there's like a bunch of different like option type stuff that you get to choose from, and like one of them is for each of the major orders, Catherine being Order of our Martyred Lady, which we've kind of brought up before, and all that, like whatever. There's a lot to this model basically is what I'm saying, and it looks really cool. There's a lot of detail that's fun about it.
Yes, I do think it's one of the best art piece models you could pick up in the range. There's a lot of them in this range specifically. The Sisters is like the one Imperium faction I think you can go the hardest with from an art standpoint. Like if you really wanted to like start getting good at your painting.
The only other one being maybe like Imperial Agents, but like that's kind of cheating in a way.
They're just art projects.
And I still think Sisters does it better with models particularly like Triumph.
They have a more unified theme with Sisters.
Yeah, but all right, let's take a look at the Demon of Fugue. So we've got a Harlequin here.
Yeah, this is Ephrael Stern and Kyganil. Kyganil being the only named Harlequin who is not playable in Harlequins, by the way, much to the chagrin of Eldar players everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely nailed it.
The only named Harlequin.
Yeah, I mean, these are characters from a particular graphic novel. If you're interested in that one, that's these models.
That's what we called comic books before comic book movies made comic books popular again.
Good explanation there. Yeah, I mean, the models themselves are pretty cool, but I don't actually know too much about the lore there. I think they're very much about that particular comic book. So one last shout out, honorable mention. We try not to bring up Legends models, but I do want to give a shout out to the Celestian Sacresant Aveline. It's not sold anymore, I don't think, and it was like a limited Black Library run. But oh my god, this model's so cool.
Yes, it's a bit just an art piece model. Like, it's a glorious model, but it was just made as an art piece thing that was a limited release.
Yeah, so it was one of those, like, I just wanted to give a shout out. It's very cool. With that, let's go into the generic characters and take a look at, like, I don't know, let's just start with the Canoness.
Yeah, so for the majority of your army that will not be named characters, your Canoness is basically your faction leader, your equivalent to an overlord or a captain, or insert every other faction's main leader type unit here. This is who leads the Sororitas on any given mission.
Yeah, so like these are potentially leaders of like an order of them, or if they're the larger orders, there's, you know, still multiple ranks of Canoness. But yeah, I mean, they look pretty cool. I think they do a pretty good job. There are some images on the GW website that are not particularly flattering, but the model is nice.
GW has issue with faces.
Sometimes, most of the time.
The majority of the time. It's damn near all of the time.
But the model is very cool. I think it does a good job of showing it's like, hey, this is special. This is your captain equivalent. We also have the Canoness with jump pack. It's a Canoness with a jump pack.
Who is a gorgeous model.
It is a gorgeous model.
You would go with the Canoness with jump pack, obviously, if you were going to go for a more jump pack heavy Seraphim, Zephyrim type army. That's why you would want to pick this over just picking a normal Canoness. Again, it'll depend on which way you want to grow your collection as you get into this, but chances are you'll end up with multiple of both at some point.
Yeah, I think that's a most likely outcome. Especially because, like you said, the Canoness with jump pack is a very nice looking model. Then we've got the Palatine, which is, oh, good show note, assistant to the manager.
Yeah, it's the correct term for the generic for like lieutenant equivalent. If she were part of some every faction's Primaris lieutenant, she could be considered a lieutenant. But more importantly, she's like the assistant to the manager.
Yeah, I've gotten really nothing on the model.
No, it's a shit ass model. Everyone hates it.
Like,
it came out versus Lilith in the one box set, and she literally looks no different than half of the generic sisters.
I'm glad I'm not insane for that, because I think we just move on without talking about the model.
She is not well liked as a model. I don't think we cover her very much. I think the assistant to the manager joke is good enough.
Yeah. So next up is the Dialogus, which I feel like it's pretty obvious when you look at the model what's happening.
Yes, it's the most classic preacher. She's the preacher bellowing out hymns and prayers and all of that. Her pulpit is a speaker, and then she's got her cowl is another speaker. You get the point. Her job is to make sure everyone hears how great the Emperor is at all times. There's a speaker in her mace.
Oh, wow. I did not actually notice that one.
Yeah, no, she does one thing, but she does it to the nines.
I kind of dig it. I mean, as somebody who likes EC.
Eric likes a noise marine.
There's something a noise marine going around here. I kind of appreciate. But yeah, I think it's cool. And the more you talk about it, the more I look at this model, I'm like, yeah, there's some really cool stuff going on here. Not the most exciting gameplay wise, perhaps. It does its job.
It does its job.
But it looks cool while doing it. What about the Dogmata, though?
So the Dogmata, as we talked about before with Fraye, Dogmatas are basically in charge of keeping the sisters in line. They will send you to become a Repentia if you screw up.
Yeah.
They're what enforce the sisters to be the indomitable spirits they are, of doing everything for the Emperor and never running from battle, etc. They are the enforcers of all things with their order. I liken them to a divine judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah, that seems about right.
That's the way to think of them. She also has Skeletor hands. Why is she the worst pose I've seen in a kit as new as her? She's from 9th edition.
No.
Her and the Palatine were both 9th edition.
The Palatine I can see. I feel like that one is fine, other than being they just grabbed a random sisters model and we're like, yep, this one's the one. The Dogmata's just bad from concept pose. Feels like it's like a 6th edition model.
Every sister is no older than 8th edition. But yeah, if you end up with a more Repentia oriented army or whatever, then a Dogmata could be a really cool piece to have in there, to have them be in charge of everything, basically leading a penal expedition.
Yeah, so on the flip side though, let's talk about a healer who's not trying to just ruin everyone's day. we've got the Hospitaller.
which is a gorgeous model. I love the giant base it comes on with the sister who is like being healed on it.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's also, I just generally like healers, so there's some of that aspect, but this is particularly exciting for like it being a story piece as well.
Yeah, this is just a safe piece to grab for like literally any sisters collection too, because it just fits the theme so well of a holy army having like the spiritual healer.
Yeah, and I mean, gameplay wise, you're always going to have potential to run a healer type character. You can fit that anywhere. Gorgeous model. Let's move on to the Imagifier though.
So the Imagifier is your standard bearer. Kind of walked into that.
You did.
Basically, your person who boosts morale by having the flag, except for in this case, it is a gorgeous statue.
It is honestly one of those like the flag, the standard, the statue. That's why I'm here for this model.
The Imagifier is the perfect example of execution is everything for an idea, because I'm not normally a fan of ancients, like for Space Marines and stuff. I don't care about the guy holding the flag.
Yeah.
But the Imagifier is beautiful. I absolutely love it because it's the amazing like statue on the pike thing is so good. That's why one of the only ancients I like in Space Marines is the Blade Guard Ancient, because it's very much in the spirit of the Imagifier.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there are cool banners. I do think that there are cool ones like that, but I feel like I'm with you on like this just takes it to the proper level for Warhammer. I mean, particularly for the Imagifier, like that fits Adepta Sororitas just perfectly. Very cool model. We've also got the Ministorum Priest.
I love that you have Daniel and Cooler Daniel.
Well, because it was one of those like you can get the normal Ministorum Priest and he's fine.
It looks like me.
But you can also get the Ministorum Priest with a Vindicator, and that is the cooler priest. Absolutely.
Yeah, that one came, I think, from Blackstone Fortress model, question mark.
That could work.
But yeah, it is hella cooler than the normal just fat guy. If I wanted to see the normal Ministorum Priest, I could just look in the mirror.
Wow. Just toss that robe on. Easy cosplay. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those that, like, the Ministorum Priest with Vindicator is just a cool model. It fits so much better for me, like, in Sisters. Like, yeah, it's kind of fine to know that, like, okay, the rest of the Ecclesiarchy has some aspects of, like, working with Adepta Sororitas, but, like...
Yeah, Sororitas is the army for them. This is the old politician in charge.
And that's boring. So, get the giant flamethrower. But that does round out our characters. There were a lot, like we said earlier, and most of them are very cool in general. Very exciting characters. Do we want to move into the infantry or vehicles next?
Let's do the infantry. We might weave a little bit here as we talk about different parts of the faction, though.
All right. Then if we're going to do that, let's start with the standard, the battle line. We've got the Battle Sisters Squad.
Yes. So this is your standard Sisters of Battle. This is the Adepta Sororitas. This squad is just, I mean, it's its own sales pitch. This is why you're in this faction.
It is.
If you don't like this squad, you don't like this faction, because everything is based on this design and then shifted.
Yeah, I mean, even though like the walkers have a lot of overlapping aesthetics, so the Battle Sisters are kind of like you said, this is why we're here.
I will say, of the many battle lines in 40k, like looking at all the 20 plus factions, Sisters of Battle has to be one of the best looking ones. Every model has so much character and has like absolutely wonderful sculpting.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple other potentials, but
There's a few that are up there with it, but like it is up there.
it is top tier, yeah. There's a shocking amount of character for a standard battle line unit.
Yes. But again, I think that's partially just because Sisters is so high on its aesthetics.
Yeah.
It knows what it wants to be, and it always makes sure that it is on theme whenever they make a new model for Sisters.
Yeah, they have done a good job of sticking to the theme while also not making it grow like tired. There's still a lot of cool stuff going on with it, which is honestly pretty good. But yeah, I mean, the Battle Sister Squad has, you know, a bunch of different loadouts that you can choose and stuff like that. They are kind of awesome. So it is one of those that like, that could be a problem of like showing off the elite units kind of thing. But I think it'll be okay for Sisters. They do technically have a separate model that you can buy for the Sister Superior. I'm not entirely sure why, but it does exist. So there it is.
It is is also worth noting that this kit is also the Dominion Squad. The Dominion Squad basically just being a loadout of Sisters of Battle where they get to take better guns.
Yeah, kind of.
It's the same sisters. They're not like a more veteran sister. It is the same battle sisters, but it's when they get out like the good stuff.
I think there was some blurb that I read that was like they're like the bunker busters type thing.
Yes, the Breacher Squad, basically.
Yeah, go take over an objective. You don't need to hold it. Just make sure it's no longer in the enemy's hand.
And then we have what to a lot of people is the first thought for a Sisters Infantry, which is the Retributor Squad, the Holy Trinity Incarnate. They have the option to choose between their heavy bolters, heavy flamers, or multi-meltas. They're the power fantasy unit. Like, they're the heavy weapons squad of, I have the gun as big as me.
I think you hit it right on of if you have any expectation of Warhammer 40K and like what Adepta Sororitas are doing, the like Hollywood fantasy is the Retributor Squad. This is it. They do a great job of it too. And like it works in gameplay as well. They get to take all the big heavy weapons. That is always nice.
This is also a minor thing, but I love the one sister with the half mask head on the GW picture. It's the one with the heavy flamer there, right?
Okay, yeah.
I wish there were more half masks. I love that look on sisters.
Yeah, it does actually work pretty well, doesn't it? Now I'm kind of annoyed that you've brought that up.
I know. I specifically know that our buddy who has sisters, I remember picking up a model with that face on it, and I love the half mask.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. But let's move on to the Sisters Novitiate Squad, the trainees, as it were.
Yeah, they're basically your Space Marine scouts, your, I don't want to call them cultists, because that seems really rude for them, but cultists.
No, they're cooler than that.
They're your trainees.
Yeah, they are the trainees.
You haven't earned your power armor yet.
That's basically it, right? Like, they're cool and awesome, but they haven't earned their power armor yet. And honestly, they look pretty cool for not being power armor in a very power armor heavy faction.
Yeah. Sisters is like one of the kill team heaviest factions. It's up there with like CSM for that. And the kill team kits for Sisters are all beautifully done. I really like that they don't default to what the Sisters look like. This is a little frustration I have where with Space Marine scouts just look like Space Marines, but with slightly less armor on them.
Right.
These truly look like an inductee. Like they don't look the exact same as the final form.
Yeah. And I mean, it kind of makes sense for Space Marines because like you don't send out.
They've already been modified genetically. So.
Yeah. Like you don't send out until like they're finally done essentially. But like sisters have to prove themselves on the battlefield. That's very much part of the whole thing. So I think this shows it off pretty well. And honestly, it does a great job. It could have been modeled in such a way that like these look bad. Like they look like cultists, but they don't. They look like they're ready to like prove themselves and get the power armor kind of thing. I think this is a great kit.
Moving on to another kill team kit, we have the Celestian Insidiants.
Yeah, this one, if you're watching this in the future, it's probably a unit that is sold separately. Currently, as we are recording this, it is a kill team that is out of print, so we're waiting for the next box, but it's going to happen.
It'll have a box in a month, but it is one of the newest kill teams, so it doesn't have its individual box yet.
These are the witch hunters.
Yes, as Sisters is like the witch hunting, heretic killing faction, like that's like what they do. These are the actual ones who go out witch hunting. Like these are your veteran squad specifically designed to hunt down rogue psychers.
Yeah, obviously every Adepta Sororitas is going to kill rogue psychers if it like happens and like whatever, but like these are specifically trained to make that happen. And that's cool.
Yeah, and gameplay wise, again, they've got the anti-psyker stuff. They're a little more specialized in that way, but it's a very thematic unit to have access to for Sisters. I really like having the veteran, the very elite version of your units that are showing off what your army does, which the two Celestian squads represent this very well for Sisters. Of one is hunting down the psychers, the other one is defending. It's a beautiful way to show off Sisters with their veteran squads. But speaking of them, we should move on to our second one.
Yeah, we've got the Celestian Sacresants, and these are the bodyguards. They're bodyguards for those in charge of the order. I mean, they got cool shield to show it.
Yes, and gameplay wise, they are your anvil for the hammer and anvil gameplay. Like, they are the ones who are supposed to absorb the hits. They're a very good elite squad for doing so.
Yeah, I mean, there is still like an amount of Adepta Sororitas are not the most defensive.
Correct. But this is your tool to have your defensive front line.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that these squads do a pretty good job of showing they are elite because, like, the basic battle sister squad is already pretty awesome looking. So, like, you do have to kind of compare them. And I think they show off being elite and, like, for a particular reason. It's not just like, oh, they're just better. There's a focus for why they're better, which, I mean, I guess we can move into the focus being a jump pack.
Yes, we have the Seraphim and the Zephyrim. The Zephyrim being the classic, give me a jump pack and a sword and a pistol and fly into combat, slicing people up while zooming around in the air. The Zephyrim embody 40K fantasy.
Yeah, just flying around with a jetpack with wings with, you know, some type of power sword. That's pretty cool.
Yes, and these ones specifically, again, making you look angelic with the wing shape for the jump pack. It's wonderful.
And yeah, the Seraphim being less melee focused.
Yeah, the Seraphim is the, I want the same thing, but I want to just have flamethrowers. So it's just flamers coming off of them or meltas or...
And there's also just an amount of like, oh, you can just have both of them? Cool. Let's go really focused.
Yeah, so you could end up with a collection that more heavily leans into these, and then you probably end up with a couple canonesses with jump packs. I'm sure you have Saint Celestine as the centerpiece of your army.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty cool aesthetic going on for the army. There are a few more infantry that aesthetically are slightly different.
Yes, I think this is a perfect way to show off how Sisters nails their aesthetic without being samey. So we have the Repentia Squad, and when we get to them, the Arco-flagellants. The Repentia Squad being Sisters who have been told to repent, so they are going to go charging into combat and earning back their honor through an honorable death.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, but I mean, I guess if the Dogmata says you've screwed up, then this is all you've got left. So grab your chainsword and run.
Grab your two-handed greatsword chainsword. The thing bigger than a Space Marine chainsword.
And you're not even in power armor.
Yep, you're not in your power armor. You are butt-ass naked.
Yeah, it is very different from all of the power armor that we've seen before. I mean, even trainees that didn't have power armor had like clear like armor aesthetic kind of thing going on.
This is, we're not wasting a single dime on you at this point. You are getting the sword and you are going to kill as much stuff on your way out as possible.
That is pretty cool.
Yep.
Very 40K. That fits very well.
I also love that the Repentia Superior has 2 whips. Like the insane Indiana Jones energy.
Yeah, the whips are pretty cool too. But the other one being the Arco-flagellants. And as much as like the Repentia are like, yeah, repenting for screwing up in some way, the Arco-flagellants.
There's no repenting for the flagellants.
This is
a punishment.
Yeah.
That was perfectly timed.
Yeah, it is kind of exactly what it is. The model shows that.
Yeah, so if you screw up real bad, then the AdMech will turn you into one of these and hand you over to the Sororitas. And these things are basically constantly being tortured at all points in time. You are getting drugs pumped into you to make you feel bad in any way that it can make you do so. Lots of forced pain and all of that. Slaanesh would be eating well off of these things.
Basically, it's essentially that in every aspect. And like the models show how creative the AdMech can be.
The models show off the Drukhari doing the Willem Dafoe, not so different, you and I.
Yes, basically. It's a fun little extra part of the army so that like the Repentia aren't just on their own aesthetically. There's something else, but it also has a substantially different feel to it even. Because like the Arco-flagellants are clearly not there by choice. The Repentia Squad are, they screwed up, but like they're there by choice kind of thing. They're going to do their duty or whatever. The Arco-flagellants clearly don't want to be there, which is good, I guess. Or something like that, right? We do have one other unit though in the infantry part.
It is is yet another kill team.
And this one feels a little weird. We've got the Sanctifiers.
Yeah, this is multiple agents of the Imperium units in a trench coat as a kill team.
Yeah, it's just like there's some militiamen and like, I don't know.
There's a death cult assassin in here.
As much as we've kind of praised the sticking to the aesthetic thing, I feel like I've lost it here on this particular unit.
This is the aesthetic of the rest of the ecclesiarchy, though.
Yeah,
It still aesthetically works. It's representing a different thing.
I guess. I don't know. There's a reason I didn't like the Ministorum Priest, so
It's fair. I get it.
I guess it is nice to show off the rest of the ecclesiarchy is technically a thing.
It's just the sisters are the main army of them.
They're the cool part. So with that, let's move into some of the cool vehicles.
Okay, so to start off, if you like Repentia and the Arco-flagellants and you want to go into like that route, then vehicle-wise, you want to start off looking at the Mortifiers and Penitent Engines, because that is like the other half of that.
Yeah, the Penitent Engine being whatever you did was worse than an Arco-flagellant punishment. So into the Penitent Engine you go.
Yeah, your agony will power this walker.
It's aesthetically really cool and like terrifying and awful and awesome all put in together.
It's got very good grimdark aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's the over-the-top, miserable beyond any logical use. It's just extra awful on purpose.
Yes, very much so.
And then the Mortifiers are the Repentia equivalent of the Penitent Engines. So this is where instead of being a random criminal, it is a Repentia who really screwed up.
Yeah, I think it is one of those like the Repentia who've already like screwed up to be there, screwed up in addition to it. And then you get strapped into the Mortifier and that's not good. It's very much similar to the Penitent Engine. You don't want to be there in any possible way. Aesthetically, also extremely cool looking.
Yeah, I love the coffin aesthetic on the front. The fact that she gets put in like an Iron Maiden on the front of a walker.
Yeah.
Plus, I really like chain flails for weapons for walkers. It looks cool as hell. But moving on from this aesthetic, we can go back to something if you're more interested in proper Sisters of Battle. Their walker equivalent would be the Paragon Warsuits. This is, again, the more generic, normal version of the crazy relic one that Morvenn Vahl has.
Yeah, so these are like kind of like the Dreadnoughts, but like not the whole sarcophagi thing.
They're more like Dread Knights, Eric.
True.
They're more like your baby carriers, but you get to see how much aesthetically better it is when you hide the legs and you don't have your little dangling legs.
I do have to kind of admit, begrudgingly, the Paragon Warsuit is cooler.
It's not begrudging, it's just much cooler.
Yeah, these are like your like actual walkers that aren't themed in pain. You did good to get the Paragon Warsuit.
I do like that it turns an unmodified, like an unenhanced person. Because like sisters, they wear power armor, but they haven't gone through like the gene therapy of like a Space Marine.
Right.
But this lets them basically have their equivalent of like a Terminator, but without having to get jacked up on roids at 6 years old.
Yeah, and since they're in like the walker, they actually get to take the heavy weapon, be it, you know, the heavy bolter, flamer, whatever, in one arm and use a sword in the other. So like, yeah, they're just kind of awesome at everything.
Yes, you end up as like the best of both worlds. But we can move on from the walkers into our proper vehicles. And we might as well start off with the certified hood classic, the Rhino. Sisters getting a fancy sculpt of the Rhino should you want to pay extra money. It is really pretty though.
It is quite nice. It is still a Rhino, but it is a nice special Rhino.
But also, if you want to save money, you can just take a normal Rhino. It's okay. Whatever you can find cheap, we're not going to judge.
So with that one out of the way, let's get into the actual cool ones.
Okay, so let's go with the Immolator, which is a Rhino, but it's different.
Yeah, it's clearly different. Come on.
This one is a lot more sisters coded. It's a Rhino. It holds less sisters in it, but this one has the double giant flamers and a stained glass window.
And like the exhaust vents are torches. It's just so cool in every aspect, man.
Braziers, Eric, is the word you want. Braziers.
Braziers.
Braziers. We love braziers on this channel. Borrelio, bring up pictures of braziers.
Oh no. Where were we? So yeah, I mean, aesthetically very cool. There's a couple different variations as well. Which one do you want to hit next?
Let's save the best for last. Let's cover the Cascader real quick. This is the Sisters equivalent of like a Predator for Space Marines. It's the Rhino, but it's a tank.
Yeah, it's got a big cannon on it.
It looks cool. It's a tank. This is a tank. So let's get to the thing that we actually want to talk about here. The coolest vehicle in at least half of the Imperium.
The Exorcist.
What if you want a missile launcher platform, but it's a pipe organ?
It's so cool.
It is the most Sisters thing you could do for a vehicle. It's so good. Also, the unique helmet on the Sister piloting it. I absolutely love her helmet. It's so good. It's like a giant stained glass helmet that's like overly tall just for aesthetics. It looks so good. Oh, I love this model.
I feel like this model has a way of making me forget that it's a Rhino.
It does. It plays more with the profile, so it doesn't just look like a rectangle.
Right? Like the other ones, like even the Immolator, I'm like, yeah, it is cool. It's still a Rhino.
You just put something on top of a Rhino to hide it.
Yeah. But like the Exorcist, yes, it is. But you don't notice it because it's so cool with all of like the pipe organ just works so well. There's something that I could keep looking at that model forever and being like, yes, this is cool.
It's a giant missile launcher vehicle that is a pipe organ. It's the most 40K idea possible.
And I mean, it does have a bunch of other like little bonus like stuff to it.
Yeah, it's got like all the little pieces of church imagery slapped all over the place with the little statues and the scrolls on the front and the braziers and all of that. Oh, it's so good in every way. It is the most Sisters vehicle imaginable.
Yeah, we did kind of end this with like the perfect model. Which, yeah, I mean, overall, Sisters as a faction, aesthetically, they're really cool. And I mean, they do a good job of being focused on like, this is the aesthetics.
All right, but that is a good quick primer to get you through what you could look at collecting in Sisters if you want to get into the faction. If you're looking at different factions right now, this is part of a series that we've been doing over the last couple of years here. Feel free to check out the other factions we've covered in this series over time. And if you're looking for other new player episodes, we have all sorts of stuff in a playlist for that because we know there's going to be a good influx of new players coming in here, and there's no time like the present to start playing 40K. But yeah, other than that, just please do the YouTube pleasantries for us. Subscribe if you're looking for more content like this. And other than that, I guess we just have to thank our patrons.
Like our producers who keep this place running. They are Aetherian, Tax Evasion, and 40K.
Ava, Tech Adept.
Billy the Git.
Brad, Eric, Come Back, I'm Scared of Women.
Breaking News, 480 Custodian Guard.
C5 Dynamite.
Certified Peg Star.
Charles Lang.
Corvus.
Demolition Man.
Dolphin Caviar.
Ferris Manus's Head in a Jar.
Gilgamesh Versus.
Grant Yost.
Yon Guy C.
Jorts in the 41st Millennium.
Kiwi Fruitbird.
Le Bloop Bloop.
Loaf of Disappointment.
NJ Harlan.
Pizza 00100.
RoboHap.
Sam Brown.
Scott the Jim Crab, Mr. Festastic.
Sorry, Eric, I forgot to change my name for a while.
The fucking God Emperor of Mankind.
The Ta'au, Fire Warrior who can't shoot.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's tough.
The Terrible Toledo Tickler.
Redacted.
You're in trouble. Victorian Batman.
Wargame Simulator.
And wondered why Patreon thought 50 letters would.
Thank you for supporting the show.
And if you want to join them and great patrons like David Gamer, you can join us on patreon.com/solely singleton. But on that note, we're out of here.
Sounds good.